Travelers. I'm Josh.
And I'm Kahi.
And we're the Genshin guys. Welcome all. This podcast is for fans of Genshin Impact, the mobile game made by Hoyoverse, also known as MiHoYo. Here we talk about our opinions, experiences, and dreams about Genshin Impact. If you like our show, don't forget to subscribe on Apple Music, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to the podcast. Kahi, before we get started, how are you doing today?
Whew, it's getting much colder, and I'm getting much busier lately, even on my days off, because I have to go do some errands right after this. My next day off, I have to do like so many things in the morning. I have to pick up both my new computers in the afternoon and then set them up. So setting up two computers at once with all kinds of cloning and backup restores is going to take a very long time with this new setup. So hopefully it'll be better. I might need to get a new microphone soon, just because I'm trying to upgrade all my old technology and trying to make the best use of this little space. And I want something more modular. But yeah, got a lot of things just kind of getting refreshed lately. What about you, dude? Doing all right?
Nice. Yeah, just trying to go through life stuff. And so here I am. But it's always good to come on here and talk about stuff and have some fun on the podcast. But yeah, weather's been decent. So here we go. So let's get started with today's topics. First is our weeks in Genshin news. We're going to talk about the continuation of the Golden Slumber quest featuring Jeht, the NPC character, called the Dirge of Bilqis. We're going to talk about character highlights, some memorable moments. We're not going to go over the complete summary of the quest because we would love for you guys to play it yourself. But if we, maybe down the road, we'll do a larger lore summary about the desert, and maybe then we'll talk a little bit about what happens in Jeht's quest. But for those of you that have played it, this should be a pretty fun discussion. If you haven't played it yet, I recommend skipping this discussion for now because it is spoiler heavy. But if that's fine with you, then go ahead and listen anyway. I'll put a timestamp in the description of when to skip to if you haven't done the quest yet. Then after that, we're going to be doing our Riddles segment and our Who's Voiceline segment. So let's have some fun today, everybody, and let's go. After that, we're going to lastly do the community discussion question. So looking forward to seeing all your answers again this week. But let's go ahead and get started with our weeks in Genshin. Okay, Kahi, so how was your week in Genshin Impact this week?
Well, like we were talking about earlier, like we mentioned, or we're going to be talking about in a little bit, I finally finished up the Jeht quest. Took a couple of screenshots because I know there's a scene I definitely wanted to make sure I captured before it moves away. One thing that I hate, and this is kind of a big thing, it's been happening ever since like the beginning. You know how like when you walk up to a character that's part of a quest, it just immediately pulls you into the cutscene. Right. And it doesn't even let you like be next to the character, at least. Like, I don't know if anyone does this at all, or just like take a screenshot because wow, this is something cool, this is something rare and unique. We're probably never going to see this like kind of like scenery again. I would like to take a picture. Nope, it goes right into it. So
yeah, and it's like random too. You never know when that happens, right?
Yep. A lot of quests were like that, especially like quests of characters that you don't see out in the world at all, because they're either time limited events or they're just, their banners aren't here anymore and you completely moved on from the entire continent. So it's just one thing I hope changes. But other than that, I'm just doing my leveling up, just getting my preparations ready. I have up to like 70 wishes right now. Ooh. So I'm like guaranteed to get someone pretty soon. The new banner is gonna be out in a day or two, I think. This week, yeah, sometime this week.
The Hu Tao Yelan banner, right?
Mm-hmm. Are you gonna pull for anyone?
Nah, I'm gonna save for hopefully a day of Mika. Yeah. I have Hu Tao and Yelan, and I have Hu Tao's weapon, so even though it's a really good banner, I think I'm gonna skip this time.
The thing I've been trying to do, trying to like save up and like do all the pre-farming and everything, had like all the character essential materials. I cannot find that the pupae thing from the worms.
Yep. The ones that Alhaitham uses.
Did you find any?
Yeah, I use them. I got Alhaitham to level 90. I know where they all are.
I've gone through the whole story in the desert. I haven't run into any of them.
So they're nowhere near the story of the desert.
Wait, so where? Okay, are they in the old desert or the new desert?
No, they're in the new desert, but they're like when you follow the Jeht story quest, It doesn't go near any of the areas that have the Poopas, but it's like,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, it's like
Ugh.
around the edge, the middle outer rim of the whole area, like inside
So the
the
more towards the center.
kind of, yeah. Have you found the boss yet? The
Oh
Waynut?
my god. The when it no, that's
Okay,
probably
because
why.
on the way to that boss,
It's
and
around
then
that
after
boss
that
then.
boss, there's a bunch. So yeah,
Okay. I guess I need to do more exploring then.
yeah. Oh man.
World has so much exploring, which is great, and it's also awful because you either have to really, really grind the exploration, or you actually have to level up your characters. If you do all of it, you have to like no life the game. Now that can be a really good thing for a lot of people, but for like me, I'm trying to play as like a little bit more lately, but still, there's a lot. I didn't even get like the statue to like past level 6. There's like so many of those Dendroculus that I have not found. I see them, but I'm like, that's gonna take too long to get. I'm just gonna keep going here.
Nice.
There's too much to do. It's a great problem to have. How about you, Josh? How's your week in Genshin? Doing anything interesting? Pre-farming?
Yeah, so pre-farming, not so much. Kind of just like I used all of my heroes wits, like my level up materials, on Ahaitham and Yao Yao, so I haven't really that much left. Like I already had to do like ley lines and stuff, so I mean, like, I'm kind of pre-farming in the way of like I'm just building up those resources for like Mora and Heroes Wit, like leyline resources, as well as doing Gilded Dreams and the Dendro 4-piece set dungeon, like domain, over and over again to just see if I can get some good pieces, and then I'll probably strongbox some of those later. But I just want to like make my Alhaitham really strong. So I don't know, it's really fun to try to make like Alhaitham really strong, but I'm kind of just chilling right now, just did the events. I've been streaming a lot and people have been showing up. Thank you all so much. It's been really, really fun. So we will do more things on stream very soon. But yeah, just been kind of just hanging out in Genshin. The events are pretty great. I did I did Lisa's event. I got the costume. That was fun. Did you do that yet?
I have two more challenges to complete, and then I should be good. I think the first time I did it, I got the pink medal or the rose medal, because there's like, you know, copper, silver, gold, and pink gold.
Right.
I'm gonna call it rose gold. So I got rose gold first, and the next two I got gold. I know I can get rose gold pretty easily, but I need to choose my teams a little bit better, because all my teams are really good, but it's trying to break them up into like. It's actually it's a little harder than I thought, like having like all these teams, but you can only use the same character twice. Yeah, because either you can use it in the beginning, but then not in the middle, but then you can use them back in the end. So I had to really plan out whose synergy I want.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
And then
usually I use
the hardest difficulty.
Of course I do the hardest difficulty too, but I usually try to use the buffs as like a guide. Like what buffs do they give you? Like if they give you Pyro buff and Dendro buff, then I know I'm using Pyro and Dendro. Like what's really funny is when I'm streaming, sometimes the viewers have the ability to tell me to do stuff in game. So 2 people made me use Dory and Klee, my 2 lowest level characters.
Oh my god.
So I made teams around them, and I just made sure that my other characters were really strong, and I just used them for elemental reactions, and it worked out fine. But it was really funny because I spent like 10 minutes on that challenge's screen trying to figure out how do I want to put Dory and Klee in here without dying. So on the team,
the fun part, because the gameplay is good.
Right, exactly.
Like,
but I linked
crafting is great.
The character I linked to both of their teams was Zhongli, so I could just use his shield to keep them alive because they're level 40. And everybody else in the event was level 80 or whatever. So like the default trial characters they give you is 80. So yeah, it was fun. And but yeah, I did the event, and I think I didn't do this yet, but I'm gonna go check. I'm pretty sure because Lisa says in the cutscene, hey, if you have some time, come see me in Gandaraville or around Sumer City. So I'm sure you can find her. I haven't found her yet, so I have a feeling she's gonna go check in on Kale, because Kale was there in Mondstadt before, and I have a feeling maybe she knows about that. So yeah, because she said I'm gonna check on that that child in Gandaraville, is what she said.
Mhm.
So yeah,
I think
you
I
haven't found her
remember
yet,
seeing
did you?
someone post a picture.
Oh, they did.
Not yet, but I remember seeing someone seeing someone that said they talked to her, and you know what's hilarious? They put like a map and they circled it,
Right.
and they said, "Oh, they're on the east part," but I'm like, wait, you circled the west part, but you said east.
Fail.
So I'm like,
Fail.
but where do I look? The place you circled, or do I go the other direction?
I mean, if they went
So,
all out of their way to
yeah, I don't
circle
know.
the place, I'm assuming it's a circled place. They just said they just got their west and est mixed up.
Probably
Yeah.
west. It's east or west.
It says west. So yeah, great. Yeah. So that was my week. It was pretty fun. Now let's move on to Genshin news. Okay, so there's not that much news this week either. Last week there was almost no news, but this week there's just some quick community updates. One of them is that, and this has been going on with a lot of different phone games and things, but Twitter, has so many changes going on all the time recently. Twitter's usage, its API, for those of you that know what that is. Basically, when you go into a game and you log in with Twitter, or you use Twitter to connect to a game in some way or another, apparently the pricing on that has changed for companies to use it, and so some companies are opting not to use it, and some and it has some effects, like some players are having trouble using it properly, like being able to post pictures on Twitter, etc., etc. So there was a post saying that Hoyoverse recommends that you, if you haven't already, create a Hoyoverse account and link your account to that, just in case Twitter stops working properly, not being able to log into the game, etc., etc. So just something to keep in mind. I don't know the full story, but that's what I understand just from the posts that were posted on this game and in other games as well.
Did not know you could log in with Twitter.
I don't know if you can, in this
I
game,
remember
you
like
can,
Apple and Facebook.
I think you can log in with Twitter, but either way, you can use Twitter to like post screenshots and stuff, right?
Interesting.
So it might be like when you go to post a screenshot and you connect it to Twitter, it doesn't work, like something like that. So, but there are other games
Like
I play.
the in-game share thing.
Right,
Yeah.
but there are other games I play where you can log in with Twitter and you can't now because of this, or that you might not be able to, or there might be a problem. So it's not just Genshin; it's every game that uses Twitter in some way inside the game. So it's a quick update, and you can read more on it on the Genshin's official Twitter. And they also posted another little post about Quick Start, which was really useful to me the other day when I wanted to do the Lantern Ride event on my North America account, because I'm not that far yet in the Archon quest line, that it actually asked me, do I want to skip ahead to this event just so that I can do it to get the rewards, which is always great because, what is the new the new experience? The new player experience. What is the new player
We'll get it eventually. Don't worry.
experience like? And for me, even though I'm not a new player and I know the characters, that it helps me playing a second account because I can just skip ahead and make sure I get all the rewards, even though I haven't actually got that far in the story. But for people that are new, if you want to experience Lantern Rite with your friends, or you want to do, you want to get the rewards, then Quick Start is great, which I think they introduced back in Sumeru patch when Kale came out, because people who hadn't been to Sumeru yet, maybe they're still in Inazuma, maybe they're still in Liyue, they could skip ahead to get Kale. And this is really useful because the limited time events are limited, and if you're not that far yet, then it sucks if you miss out because you haven't rushed the story as fast as everybody else, or you just started playing. So if you do, at a certain point when you can do Quick Start, it actually asks you, you're not gonna experience the full story because you are skipping a lot of content, and you'll see characters you maybe haven't met yet, or go to places you haven't been to yet. So if you're okay with that, you can do Quick Start. And if you do that during the story, if you run into a character that you haven't actually met in the story yet, then it will do a little pop-up that says, oh, this is Shunha, and she's this character, and this is her background, and it does like a quick little summary on screen during the cutscene. Those of you, when you see a new character for the first time in the story, you'll know. Sometimes they have that, but yeah, it's really interesting. I think that it's a really nice feature to have, especially since we talk about so much about limited quests being really unfortunate because you can't go back into the story. So at least we know that in most cases, even if you're not that far, you can do the limited time event, which is, I think, really important. It will kind of screw up your timeline of the game story a little bit, but you know, it's better than not getting to experience it at all, I think. What do you think about that quick start thing, Kahi?
I do like it for the new players. The it does, of course, tell them that they're going to be needing to do like these other sort of story quests. So like you know you are going to be missing some lore. You know you're going to be thrown into the middle of it. So that's an acknowledgement. So if people are okay with that, then that's totally fine. I like that as an option. I personally prefer having to go through the story so that I know what the heck is going on.
Yeah, of course.
But
of course.
you know, it's great. Yeah, it allows people to actually get into the time limited events without missing out on the event itself. But then, you know, they are agreeing to have it spoiled for them.
Yeah, I think that's great.
So I'm okay with that.
Okay, cool. So that was the quick start thing that they mentioned on Twitter. You can read more about it on their official Twitter as well. And then they had one little video which was about Chinese culture, and it's called A Journey of Art and Heritage, Adeptal Tales Inside Painting. And it's a really interesting Chinese art. I don't know if it's ancient. They said something about it being originated from this artist in the 1800s who like made it famous in China about painting in the inside of bottles. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's very, very, very nice art. So if you want to see some of it, go ahead and check it out. If you're interested in art, in ancient art techniques, etc., I think it's really cool. So we have it on Genshin's official Twitter. You can check it out there. It is in Chinese with English subtitles. Okay, so that's basically it for the news. The other news that we have is an announcement on our side. Originally, we had our Genshin Guys monthly live stream on my Twitch scheduled for February 7th at 5 to 7 p.m. PST. But due to some timing conflicts, we're going to be changing the date from February 7th to February 13th. Sorry for such short notice, but it's something we just had to change. So February 13th, 5 to 7 p.m. I believe it's a Monday. Come and check it out. We will be streaming live. We'll be doing Who's Voiceline live as well as Kahi's Riddles. And we're going to have a lot of fun doing some co-op and more Genshin stuff. So this is going to be next week. So feel free to mark it on your calendars. I'll have it up on my Twitch schedule as well. So if you're confused, it will be on there to check it what time it is in your time zone. Okay. So that's basically it for the news this week. We'll move on to our first topic, which is Jeht's quest, the Dirge of Bilqis. Alright guys, so this is where we talk about the story. So if you haven't done it yet, feel free to pause it here and skip ahead past this, or go ahead and do the quest, finish it to the end, and then come back and listen. I'll have the timestamp the timestamp in the description. So just warning, spoilers, here we go. So Kahi, take us away, give us a little introduction to this quest.
All right, so for those of you who aren't really familiar, this is a continuation, a big part 2 to the quests from a character known as Jeht. Jeht we met a couple batches ago, actually. It was one of the longest side quests in the game. The longest ever would be the one from the Aranara in the jungle part of Sumeru, but this one is the main side quest in the desert regions. So from part 1, just a quick summary, you met Jeht and her dad, and they're just trying to, go around the desert, trying to find some stuff, trying to, find their way through their caravan, and they're just, exploring some ruins until, Jeht's father met his untimely end in the, the Kajnisut, it's like a really big temple, the Temple of Kajnisut, which is in the northeastern part of the desert. And then, we saw how Jeht found the little construct, the ancient construct Ben. And the last we knew of her was that she was going to find his original tribe, the Tanit. Now we are, of course, going to be finding that very tribe. So in the beginning, we receive a commission from Catherine to go find this place by some, a new place in the outskirts from this desert, from some new patch of Eremites we haven't met yet. Now they don't look visually different, but a few of them are strikingly visually different. So we meet a couple of new characters. Two in particular that we meet that are very, very notable is we meet a character by the name of Azarik, as well as Babel. Okay, before I continue, Josh, do you prefer Babel or Babel?
Honestly, you can just pick whichever one you want. I know. Last time we said like.
You know why I say Babel?
Yeah, because babe.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine. You
Okay,
can say
so
whatever you
yes.
want. Maybe I'll say Babel.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I'll say Babel. We'll just use it interchangeably.
Mm-hmm. Interchangeably, yeah. As long as we know who we're talking about, we're good. It's the point of communication.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we meet Babel, who is the matriarch of the Tanit, this Tanit tribe. Now, at first glance, it doesn't look like a pretty big tribe, which actually helps, you know, with the whole idea of their like stragglers. They're struggling to like kind of like maintain a certain way of life here. So the beginning of this quest, you're just going throughout this little gorge area where their entire village is. So it's not out in the open at all. There's no tents above on the surface of the sand. It's all in this one little ravine, you know, a good source of water, which is great. And they have a lot of crocodiles. So we just do some chores around the village. We, you know, see Jeht again. We get reunited with her and what she does. She is still kind of treated like a, you know, half or like an honorary villager, because, you know, she is technically from the outside, even though her dad is from this tribe. But it appears like her mom was actually an outsider. So one thing that caught me off guard, because of how the other story ended, what was her dad's name? Jabrail. So Jabrail, you know, Jet's dad, he met his end in the temple of Kajni Sut. He was absorbed into that whole like, what do they call it? It was like this really weird like dimension where everyone's collective consciousness kind of melded together. So his entire being was absorbed into that. However, Jeht had some remains, and I was like, wait, how did she retrieve any of that? Because it's sealed afterwards. But apparently she was just talking about like his like axe, and you know, I'm still not too sure how she got the axe, but apparently that's one thing that she is trying to lay to rest with her mother's diary as well. So that's kind of like the thing that we have to keep in mind. That's her purpose going forward. So the entire point of this quest was to find a place called the Eternal Oasis. So that's most likely, of course, in the center of this new desert area. And as you could probably imagine, the Eternal Oasis is a very lush green place that has some connection to time manipulation and a certain goddess. And this particular goddess was actually hinted throughout Nilu's questline. She kept talking about, you know, have you heard of the goddess of flowers? Like, it wasn't just like a, you know, mythological, like, you know, fairy tale story or anything. It's, you know, actually real. You know, one thing about Genshin, a lot of these fairy tales turn out to be actual lore and actually real and actual historical events. But yeah, that's the entire purpose. Like, whether people reveal it in the early game or not, the entire, you know, plot of this quest is find the Eternal Oasis. Jeht wants to find it to lay her, you know, family's remains to rest and just put them there because that's what she remembers them talking about as a kid. Everything in between is all about like your journey to get there. You know, you learn a little bit about Azariq, you learn a little bit about Babel, and you learn a little bit about Fatui influence, although they're not entirely like prominent. They're not the bad guys. Okay, Josh, when you were going through this quest, I thought Babel, this is a spoiler if everyone didn't know already, this is spoilers. Josh, I thought Babel was going to be the bad guy. Did you think that too?
So yeah, so Babel, so I thought she was gonna be a bad guy in some capacity. Yeah, I think so. I wasn't like totally convinced that she was the main bad guy, but I thought that she was going to be not necessarily on our side. But yeah, because, you know, yeah, same. I got the same vibe, so I thought the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the thing about characters, like when you are fed a suspicion, like in the storyline, if you are like intentionally withheld or are aware of withheld information, you begin to immediately suspect. So like Babel, she has her reasons for not saying everything. You know, Azariq, honestly, I did not see it coming because he just seems like one of those henchmen kind of people. Like, he's simple-minded, you know, he has like a, you know, steady relationship, like a brotherly relationship to Jeht, and you don't really think that he's plotting anything. So, which was an interesting twist where it turns out that Azariq was the bad guy plotting something, although he had his motives and everything. And Babel turns out to be just, a really strict and really conniving, matriarch.
He just turns out to be a Babel, Turns out to be a babe.
Pretty much. One thing I cannot get over is like, in the trailer for this patch, when they're talking about like the bad guys, that Babel's exact character model, of course, it's an NPC, but like
she's a bad guy.
It was like shown to be an evil, like an evil NPC. Enemy. So I'm like, wait, is she? Eremite enemy. Is she gonna be bad or not? Like maybe that's just they planted that early to have that suspicion super early on. But one thing I love about these characters, they are very rare when you run into them out in the open, and they are actually really hard to kill.
Yeah, I love that, and they're cool to like fight against. They're not just like a random bird or a random robot. They're like another
they're
person.
Big, they're tall.
Yeah, who can do stuff. It's cool. Again, makes me want
Unique
them
abilities.
To be playable, but it is what it is.
Like when we first ran into like the Fatui, lieutenants and officers, they were cool. They had a pretty basic attack pattern, but they didn't like summon ancient constructs and didn't like power through any of like your CC abilities. You can't like freeze them consistently. You can't knock them on their feet. They really hurt your shields.
They definitely level them up.
In a group, that's gonna hurt.
Guys.
Mm-hmm. But they did it so well that I think they did it too well, because you now gave them a story like in Jeht's quest.
Well, remember, we have what's it called? We have there's no enemies that look like Jeht, right?
There are.
Oh, there are.
They were in the desert, the first one.
Oh my god. Okay, well.
They're in the forest too. They're just shorter.
Oh
they
my
have
gosh,
different
yeah,
hair
it's
color.
so crazy because we have those random Fatui quests where we help out Fatui people, and then we find out like that they're just people too. Like so many different side quests and world quests that involve Fatui as just characters that we talk to, and they're using the same character models as the enemies. So sometimes it's like and then now it's the same thing. We've gotten so attached to to Jeht and her character and stuff that's like you don't even want to fight those NPCs anymore. Like, oh man, I just want to play as them.
I mean, I know they didn't do this intentionally, but they did such a good job at crafting the story in her part 1 and her part 2 that they're giving her more background and more, I guess, a more fleshed out character than most of the 5 stars. Because in the 5 stars, we don't see them nearly as often, or when we do, they're just here and there, and like you see them fight, you see their abilities, and they have their banners, and they have their time in the spotlight. But then Jeht being like a side character based off an NPC model, having more drama behind her than 5 stars, it's a little weird. It's like, you did a really great job. Whoever wrote the stories for like this particular patch did a really great job. But where the heck are they for the actual playable characters? Like, I'm conflicted. Like, you're doing great, but should they be for the 5 stars? Should they be exclusive to that? I'm glad they're not, but it just seems a little lopsided. Like, they put a lot of effort into this, seemingly not as much effort into the other characters, because I mean, the money makers are the characters and the gacha system. But I'm like, but I kind of want this character now.
Right, this character, this like copy paste character model that's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With no voice.
What do you think, Josh? Should this character be playable?
So,
what do you think?
we want to talk about like future stuff, or can I just mention it right now?
You can mention it now. I mean, we'll talk about like our future dreams after we do the whole story review.
I mean, I just feel like it would be really, really cool if, as far as my future dream, to have Jeht take down her hair and change her outfit and then become a playable character, and we see the story of how she gets a vision, because she's like this character who we see like all the layers of her character, and how the Ginny and even Babel, they like talk about how she's different or she's special, and Like I just think that she's like a perfect candidate for a vision. Like I'm almost surprised she doesn't already have one.
That is true.
Right? So imagine she like lets down her hair or changes her hairstyle or just changes her outfit and becomes like a 5-star character.
Takes off the band.
Yeah.
Takes off the mask.
Right? Or she gets a new one or a different one. Because I think like,
Yeah.
she would have to be
Oh, this would be such a good setup.
she would have to be like, you can tell she was an Eremite character, but she's different now. Like I think that would be really cool in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, well, again, who knows? Well, getting back to the story before we talk about our future dreams for this, one thing I loved about this story, it's like how it does affect the open world.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
It's technically a big thing. It's technically a small thing. So the big thing, of course, the big giant ancient construct that we find, buried in the desert. When you look at the map, when you first go into that area, that machine is on like the northeast side,
right?
Just like stuck there. During the quest, when you go through it and activate it, and they say that let's bring this and let's make it move to this other part of the desert, and you're like, okay. When you come out, if you don't actually look, the machine actually changes position on the map.
Yeah.
Because the map is usually like this hand-drawn like sketch, but then you never expect anything to physically like change. It does move as you move throughout the quest.
Yeah, and we've had it in the past.
Ever done that
we've had it in the past where
the
we've like changed the map, like at the beginning of this Golden Slumber quest, when that cave-in happened in that one area. It created on the map like a little cavern area. You remember that? The reason I remember it so vividly is because I was looking for desert materials, and some of the materials were underground in that area, and I was like looking at the map online, and I was like, why does this map look different from my map? And then I realized after I played Golden Slumber Quest, it opened up that little area.
Oh, I probably wasn't looking at it that hard. I probably did it actually no, I did do it before you. That's probably why I didn't notice right away, because I just already did the quest. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they actually changed the map once, but that was like it's like they just added something.
I think 2 patches ago.
They didn't move anything. They didn't like, especially this giant
it was
freaking
minor
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Mondstadt did that, unless, Dragon Spine technically, but that was like an addition to like the map. I don't think Leeway did anything like that, because nothing moved. There was all of their structures were just like ruined buildings, and they just stayed put. But it made sense. This one changes, but it changes like 3 times.
I feel like there was something else somewhere. But for sure, this robot moves like 3 times during this quest, and it's just so interesting to like see it moving across the map.
I like little details like that, like things that do change the physical game, not just like the canonical game, like not from like the character's perspective, but like when you yourself as the player are seeing like the game's assets, or the menus, or the dialogue, or even the logs in the history, and actually change. Because remember like the Ruka Devada quest, like her name was literally purged from all the other items. I like that
so
detail.
Interesting. Like that is so cool. Yeah.
It adds life. It adds dimension to the game. So yeah, we really need more of this kind of stuff, because it just adds to like the immersion effect, like both like in game and like kind of outside the game too. Almost like a fourth wall break, but not really. It's
interesting because, like I said, I was looking up map. Like I didn't do the world quest yet, but I was looking up on a map online. How do I get these materials? And then I look, and the map's different from mine. I'm like, what the heck? I remember. For those of you that didn't play it, I'm sorry, but you remember the second Golden Archipelago event from the patch 2 point something?
Yeah, the second time.
Yeah, the second time you can like switch the maps, switch the islands into different shapes, and they change on the map too. So when I was looking for stuff on the map, I couldn't find it because my map was different from all the maps I found online. Like I didn't know halfway into that like whole quest that you had to press something to like change the shape of the island. You remember that?
Yeah, you can actually see it in the distance, like not even on the map, but it visually changes. You can see like the different theme.
Yeah, it's so cool. So anyway, yeah, I remember that.
I like that. Oh, speaking of like changing like shape and changing themes and everything. So throughout the quest, you ran into a character in a little bottle, a djinn or a dijin or jinn, however you want to pronounce
Ginny.
it, like a little genie, yeah. How do you pronounce the name?
Lillipar.
Lillipar. Okay. Here's a very concerning but awesome but interesting but like weird fact. She herself says, what does it say? So she says, if my soul were not sundered into many parts, unable to muster sufficient strength, I could shift into any number of shapes that might please you. A dancing girl, a lovely youth, an arhat or a yaksha, or a lovely beast of those races that died out under the moon's light. I have been them all. I have been them all, and played all their parts, all for my Lord's pleasure.
Oh,
holy crap!
wait! I never thought of that hard about that. The yaksha thing specifically.
Holy crap! This particular djinn may have had such a big influence in every country's history, just for like playing around. She may have actually altered everyone's story because she's a shapeshifter that knows about arhats and yakshas and beasts that died out a long time ago. She's been everywhere in early history. And now I'm double thinking everything that we've learned so far. Like, first of all, she says yaksha. No one in the desert knows what a yaksha is. Of course, that's in Liyue. That's their ancient history. I don't even think Sumeru academics know what a yaksha is or mention yaksha, because that's just, yeah, I've never heard the word.
Yeah, it just has nothing to do with them. It's kind of like
patch. Yes.
how like everybody outside of Liyue is kind of like, wait, the Adepti are real? But there's just like Adepti walking around in Liyue.
Even they don't know. So like for
Lillipar.
Lillipar or Lillipar. For Lillipar to say that I have been them all and played their parts, that's a very clear distinction here. It's one thing to like look like them, but to play the part for the sake of someone else throughout history, that's a pretty big deal. And she's not the only djinn. We met her sister. She had a sister like way later in this quest that, you know, confined herself to like this one little vase or something that you had to eventually destroy, and then, you know, that's the end of her. But she was just stuck there guarding what is presumed the entrance to the Eternal Oasis. But my goodness, this is a pretty big deal. This is a pretty big revelation, because now knowing that there is an existence of entities like this, you have to really, like, you know, second guess everything. Like you essentially have to challenge everything you know so far, because it could have been a djinn, it could have been a fake, it could have been, you know, like some imposter. Like the character that someone else fell in love with and had like an entire lineage may have been a djinn. So like, it's almost like a really clever way to retcon something and make it believable and more interesting, because now you have just her existence is just, it throws everything into chaos. Like, what do you think? Like, is there something? What are your thoughts on Lilu so far? Like Lillipar, like interesting, not interesting, or like did you know, what's your overall impression of her?
I mean, it's so funny because I was playing on stream this entire quest, and the people that were watching were talking about Lillipar and how she just basically like talks down to everybody. It's really funny. And so like then we find out how powerful she is, and I'm just like, like, you know, the way that works with like the pairing a contract with the master and like all this stuff. I think that I wasn't thinking about it as much until you brought this up, but I'm curious if that statement was meant to have this sort of impact. Like, you know, think about it. I could have been anything, or I was everything, or whatever. All for someone's pleasure, right? For someone's idea, it was part of someone's plan for her to take these roles. She didn't do it on her own. So, is there more to the people running things behind the scenes, and how long have they been doing it, and what effect has that had? It also just makes me really curious. So like you said, there are some things where I'm like curiously second guessing about. Man, to say that they were a yaksha when what I understood was the yakshas are only the people that were created by Zhongli. Like, what does that mean? So I don't know. So anyway, yeah, I think it's really interesting to consider the history and how we find out that Lillipar actually killed everybody in her family or in like the area or whatever.
Wait, hold on. I just realized something. Guizhong. Was Guizhong a yaksha? No.
No, she was a
something else. Okay. Because I was gonna say like if holy crap. Okay, if Lillipar acted like Guizhong, and because remember when they found Guizhong, she turned to salt or stone.
Right.
So technically they didn't see her die. They just found her and was already like that.
I see.
So if that was Lillipar, then it's now plausible that Guizhong did live on somewhere else and became Sandrone, the marionette.
Interesting.
She could be the same thing, because Madame Ping is still around.
Wait a second.
She's old.
I just like
she can live that long.
Okay, so I'm looking up this lore right now, and I didn't realize for some reason in my head I thought yakshas were like kind of created by the Argeo Archon to fight upon the demons and stuff after the Archon War, but actually yaksha is just a race. They're just a part of the illuminated beast, and illuminated beasts like adepti are also illuminated beasts, but yaksha are a different part of illuminated beasts who are like mostly humanoids. They all have masks and they're all associated with animals too, but I'm reading here and it says like while there are many yakshas, 5 were considered the foremost yakshas for their strength and capability, and it's the main 5 that we always know about, the 5 yakshas. But they're not the only yakshas. For some reason I thought they were the only yakshas. So
I thought so too.
Yeah, so then maybe there is less meaning to that. Maybe there is just like yakshas who, but apparently Aladdis, like Xiao, is the only person that remains among all the yakshas. This is what it's
because
written
Lillipar just said. Because Lillipar says, or a lovely beast of those races that died out under the moon's light.
Right.
I thought she was talking about like Kyrians.
Maybe, yeah.
Because some of them turned into like the Sealies, some of them turned into like other monsters.
All right, let's look more into it. I'm definitely gonna look more into this when we look into our desert.
Oh, we should do that later
stuff.
on.
Yeah, desert lore stuff.
Yep. So like after like this entire like Jeht quest, the really melancholic, very like kind of sad, but like very tranquil ending where you find the Eternal Oasis. She puts the axe down on this nice little growing tree and puts the mom's diary right there and just sits. It just doesn't say anything, because she has been kind of like chatty throughout here and there, and just for her to just sit there and not say anything is just kind of a interesting break in character. So just to be like completely still. I took some awesome screenshots. I put that on the Twitter. I put them in the Discord too. But man, it just felt like a really good way to end that kind of a story quest. And everything's frozen. It matches the theme and the air so well. Like everything's frozen in time. Like nothing moves. Like you don't want things like
minus the puzzles.
You don't want to just minus the puzzles. Yeah. Because I only did like one of them. I completely forgot. Like yes, there were like time manipulation puzzles, and I just didn't do anything to it. I moved the chest. I moved that tree to get the chest, and I just kept going.
You didn't do the other puzzles?
No, not in there, because I just wanted to finish the quest. But I know eventually we have to get back into that. We have to go back into that oasis because we have to like put 3 things into those tree trunks to complete like a phrase or a puzzle.
Yeah, that was those puzzles.
Characters.
They're all there.
Oh, they're all in there? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I gotta go back and do
There's
it.
also like one or two Dendroculuses in there.
I think I got one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah. After that, you know, I think we talked about it. Yeah, but you know, Azarik turned out to be planning something. He knew he's had like this whole deal with the Fatui that we had to kind of like fight them off as well because of a misunderstanding. But it's still outsider interference, which you know Babel is very, very highly against. So Azarik, you read that letter that he dropped right after you defeated everyone.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if that was like hinted or anything, but Azarik wanted to marry Jeht.
Yeah. No. He said
have
it.
her become the matriarch.
Yeah. He said that, and then she said she acknowledged it. She's like, "Wow, that's what he wanted."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's lame.
Okay. I didn't feel it. It didn't hit as hard. Maybe I'm reading it in different voice. You see, because they don't have a voice, it's hard to know how sincere they are. It's hard to know if they're
that's like
saying it monotonously or whatever.
Again, like there's so much emotion and stuff in this quest, and it's such a waste. Like Aranara is one thing, right? But like having these characters go through this like life-changing situations and not have any voice acting, even though there's like a bunch of action and things happening, it's like a real waste of a good opportunity to have some good voice acting. Anyway, until they hire me.
Here's hoping. Well, I mean, speaking of, you know, voice acting, it's a good segue. I mean, because we kind of wrapped up the story here. I mean, it's not going to end here, but hopefully it comes back around, or we have another continuation later on in the future. Since we're on the topic of like voice acting, hey Josh, do you have any voice lines planned for today?
Hey Kahi, I do. So let's get started and move on to our Who's Voice Line segment. For those of you that are, that want to talk more about the quest, Jeht's quest, the Dirge of Bilqis, Golden Slumber, feel free to check out the spoilers chat in the Discord. Just make sure you tag yourself with the spoilers okay tag, and you'll get access to some spoilers okay chats. So definitely don't post any spoilers in the main channels if possible, and we will have some fun talking about stuff, sharing cuts, screenshots, etc., etc. Now, so let's get started with Who's Voice Line. I believe this is the 6th iteration of Who's Voice Line, and for those of you whose first time it is, welcome to Who's Voice Line, a segment where I will be sharing some voice lines from different official voiceover dubs found in the game. I want to do this segment because I love voice acting, the voice artists, and I feel like this is a great chance to give some recognition for the hard work that they do. This is the format. I will share 3 voice lines from one character in each of the 4 languages, English, Japanese, Korean, and Chinese, in that order. Then I'll give you some time to think, give Kahi some time to think. Feel free to pause the podcast if you really want some more time, and then I will have Kahi guess, and after that I'll reveal the answer. So, you ready, Kahi?
Ready when you are.
Here is the first one.
A windy day is a good day for a getaway. Recently, someone told me that if you get annoyed too easily, that'll stunt your growth too. I don't know what I can do about that. Uh-oh. Need an escape plan.
Okay, who do you think it is?
Sounds like Yao Yao.
Is that your final answer?
I'm gonna say yeah.
Sayu, Shumatsuban at your disposal.
Oh no!
It's Lily Pichu!
It's Lily Pichu, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It's Sayu. Dang it.
Yeah.
Okay. She doesn't normally sound that bright and like.
That's why I picked those voice lines on purpose.
And emphatic. It's okay.
Yeah.
Breaks your character. So okay, she's trying to be someone else at that point.
Yeah, because I was thinking like, man,
yeah,
it's way too easy because like 90% of her voice lines talk about sleeping. So.
Or it just sounds very like, you know,
tired,
grunting, and very like breathing heavy. Yeah.
Right.
Breathless.
Okay, so nice try, but let's move on to Japanese.
It was close. So she got the short character.
Oh, it was close. You got the short green character, but okay. Ready for Japanese?
Ready.
Okay.
天気が良くないね。今夜星空を観測できないとなると、はあ、 私の製図の宿題はもうこれ以上伸ばせないんだけどな。助けて。虫を捕獲する植物とかないのかな。小さな虫が部屋を飛び回りながらずっと泣いてるんだけど、私どう探してもその場所を突き止められなくて。すごい羨ましいな。本当に何でも作れるんだ。
Okay, I'll give you a second to think about it. And who do you think it is?
Okay, it's between two characters.
Okay.
And I'm leaning more towards Layla.
Okay, and?
It's between Layla, if it's not Layla, Ganyu. But I'm leaning towards Layla just because Ganyu speaks a little slower, I think.
Okay, so Ganyu is your final... Oh, I mean, Layla is your final answer?
Layla's final answer.
Okay, and you are correct!
Hey,
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, it was good because you're right. Ganyu does speak a lot slower, and has like a little
More
bit
precise.
less airy tone of voice. I think. Layla has a lot
more
of air.
Caring, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she sounds tired more. I mean, between her and Ganyu, I mean, Layla's more tired. Ganyu like doesn't sleep at all.
They're both sleepy ice people, huh?
Yeah. Like, my one's a workaholic, the other one's just an earnest worker.
Well, when she's asleep, right? All right.
Pretty much, yeah.
Next is Korean. Okay, ready?
Ready.
눈이 올 땐 세상이 고요해지는 것 같아. 맹세 같은 건 좀 촌스럽잖아? 그래도 네가 원한다면 너와 함께하겠다고 맹세할게. 내가 살던 세계처럼 이곳의 과거에도 비밀이 많구나. 시간이 충분하다면 이 비밀들을 전부 밝혀내겠어.
And for this one, I'm going to give you an extra hint. I'm going to give you the elemental burst voice lines, okay?
Okay.
속박한다. 새로운 스킬이군. 여기가 내 사냥터야.
And who do you think it is?
Okay, this sounds like an older character. There's no weird, like, hinting or sensuality behind it, so it's not any of those other, like, One-san characters.
Nice.
Very, very poised, very controlled. Oh. I want to say Jean.
I'll give you another hint.
Jean.
It might be a sort of trick question. I want you to think of all the characters.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, playable character, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so obviously playable character, but might be a trick question. Ooh, who would be...
Like, your thinking is on point,
question.
I think.
So the last voice lines you played were their elemental burst?
Yeah. I mean, most people are yelling when they do their burst, so...
Well, yeah, well, like... Okay, because I was going to think, wait, Raiden Shogun? But no, Raiden Shogun still sounds like Raiden Shogun during the burst.
폭발할지도 몰라. 사냥꾼의 장난감이지. 이거 본 적 있어?
Man, Korean is hard, huh?
Korean is hard, yeah. Okay, if those are her skills... She doesn't sound like Yelan. But she sounds a little, like, younger than Yelan. A little bit more spry, a little bit more energetic. Oh, this is tricky. Dang it. This is tricky. Okay. I gotta stick with Jean.
Okay, that's your final answer, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be a final answer. It's most likely not at this point, but I don't know if anyone else who kind of like has this kind of like enunciation.
Okay, so if we're thinking of all of the playable characters, and this is maybe a trick question, the answer is Aloy!
Oh my, really?
Your thinking was right, but
Aloy
I just think
sounds
you
like
never really put Aloy into the equation, you know, because she's not like a Genshin character.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I completely forgot about her.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right. Never
I mean,
forget.
fair enough, yes, because we don't hear her. Yes.
Yeah. But
Okay,
yeah,
but I
she's
mean,
playable, so.
it's weird that sounds like Aloy. Aloy, I mean, he does sound younger, but has like an older vibe to it. Okay, that makes sense because like
Yeah.
Aloy in the game.
Yeah,
in her
like I
game,
really think your
is, like, a
thinking
little
was like
older, more mature.
on point. Just that you just didn't have like that full character list. That's why I kind of tried to give you a hint, but difficult
Okay.
because we never see her.
Trick question. Now it makes sense. Okay.
Okay,
I
last
feel like
one.
I need to make my riddles harder for you now.
Oh well, you can always do it next time. So just make it harder and harder progressively. That'd be great. I mean, it's gonna get to a point with the voice lines where like it really just depends, right? On the characters we have.
Mhm.
Anyway, all right, last one, Chinese. Okay.
要是在街上和我打招呼，我却没有反应的话，不要见怪，我只是开了耳机隔音而已。这世上吸引人注意力的东西有很多，不要太相信自己的双眼。如果所见极为真实，人就不需要思考了。他对所有人和事都抱有过度的关怀心，可能是因为他自己太脆弱了吧，整天大惊小怪的。
Okay, I'll give you a second to think about it.
Oh, I think this has to be this one character.
Okay, who is it?
Zhao.
Oh, is that your final answer?
I'm gonna say. Oh no, wait. Diluc.
And the answer is Al-Haytham.
Wait. Oh right, yeah. Oh, that makes sense too.
Yeah, he does sound very different from his English and Japanese, though. I will admit he doesn't have as much of a deep tone.
Dang it.
I
he
actually
sounds a little
heard
deep.
originally Al-Haytham was supposed to be a different famous Japanese voice actor who has a lighter tone voice. But there was like a scandal like that happened with him in Japan, and so they decided not to use him like kind of last minute.
Scandal. Wow.
Yeah, like
Okay.
they decided not to use him last minute, so they switched to this voice actor, like the current Japanese voice actor. So if you play the game in Japanese, his voice is a little deeper, like it's closer to like closer to Zhongli than it is to Zhao. But I think in English and in Chinese, it's actually like a lot lighter. So just interesting random tidbit there. I'll look up more about it later, but yeah.
Yeah, at first he sounded like Zhao. He did have that young tone to it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that was a good guess, I think. Like I was just like, oh. So yeah, thanks for playing. That is our Who's Voice Line episode for that is our Who's Voice Line segment for this episode. Sorry, Kahi, you got one right. But it was tricky.
Close.
So yeah, it was a lot of all of your answers were close. So next time we'll get them next time, buddy. Don't worry about it. Okay, all right. So that concludes our Who's Voice Line segment for this episode. So Kahi, would you like to do some riddles?
Yep, I have 4. They're a little short. I didn't want to make like entire like poems because that's like a little bit too much, and I'm sure like some keywords will give it away like midway through it anyway. So in the interest of time, let's roll right into it. I have 4 riddles for you.
Okay.
In no particular order of difficulty, but I will read them out once and let me know if you want me to read it again, okay?
Okay.
Alrighty. So, riddle number 1. I am not my clan, I am not my past. I scout the outland, but I'm not an outcast. Forgive my stare being a frigid hue, I merely wish to tango with you. Who am I?
Ayaka.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Wrong. It is Eula.
Oh shoot. Oh wait, Tango.
Yeah.
Oh
I am
right.
not my clan. Tango.
Yeah. You know what?
Frigid hue.
You said clan, and my
Forgive
head
my stare.
went to like
Mhm.
Inazuma, but I forgot about
yep,
the
yep.
Lawrence clan.
Mm-hmm. So it was not as easy as you thought, huh?
I mean,
You're
I
on
didn't
the
think
right
it was
track,
easy.
then.
You thought it was easy.
Okay. All right. This next one, hopefully this one's a little bit easier because it's a little bit shorter.
Okay.
Dutiful as a knight should be, full of charm and courtesy, clean, pristine with humility, will aid her people religiously.
Noel.
Who am I? Easy, yeah. What gave it away?
Night and aiding people.
Mm-hmm. Aiding people. Oh. I was thinking it would be the dutiful, because that's literally what she says, as a dutiful knight should.
Oh well, there you go. I mean, I
That's
don't
her
use
whole
her.
voice line.
I
There you go.
don't use her. So
I still find myself using her a lot. She's in 2 of my teams right now. She's a great healer and
Wow.
shielder.
cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, why not, right?
Okay, all right. Okay, 1 out of 4. 1 out of 4. So it's pretty good. So we're 2
tied.
down. You got 1 so far. Tied. Let's see if we can break this tie. Okay. Number 3. Riddle number 3. Advisor to the highest powers. Luckily does not charge per hour. Divine heritage, a blessing for sure. Will balance scales and misdemeanors cure. Who am I?
Wait, one more time?
One more time. So, advisor to the highest powers. Luckily does not charge per hour. Divine heritage, a blessing for sure. Will balance scales and misdemeanors cure. Who am I?
Whoa, what the heck? Wait. Balance scales. Misdemeanors. Higher powers.
As a hint, of course, I'm really describing what she does, not so much her personality.
Yeah, I know. Doesn't charge by the hour. Is it Yaimiko?
Is that your final answer?
I feel like it's not, but yeah, sure, go for it.
It is Yanfei.
Yanfei. Yanfei doesn't charge
She
by
has
the
a
hour?
skill.
She's a lawyer.
Well, she doesn't charge per hour, but like, she balances scales. She helps negotiate contracts. She's
Right.
a lawyer, so it helps comes up with defenses for like misdemeanors as infractions of the law. Divine heritage. She's
All
related
right.
to Madame
All
Ping.
right. I'll give you this one, Kahi.
Advisor to highest powers. Yes. Yeah, she advises. She helps Ning Wang too. She helps a lot of the cheating.
Dang. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I need to. Yanfei is one of the ones I know the least lore about, I think. So she's like there. Okay, Yanfei lore episode. Let's go.
Okay, last one.
Okay, last
We're
one.
1 for 1. This will be the one. I feel like you might get this. Okay.
Yoimiya.
Evil expunged. Is that your final answer?
No.
Okay. Well, evil expunged from a mighty blow, offset by a humble soul, a sign from my hand, a demon unmade. Such is the result of my spirit blade. Who am I?
Wait, one more time.
Evil expunged from a mighty blow, offset by a humble soul, a sign from my hand, a demon unmade. Such is the result of my spirit blade. Who am I?
Is it Shao?
Is that your final answer?
It says Spirit Blade, so like I'm kind of like iffy about the answer in general, but Spirit Blade and demons and fatal. Yeah, I guess so.
It's Chong Yun.
Oh my
He is
god!
an exorcist.
The
A
only
sign
other-
from my hand.
I don't. What does that mean?
Spirit blade is
Sign
his,
from my
his
hand?
burst. A sign from my hand. Yeah, he does hand signs
Oh my
to like
dude!
exorcise demons.
I don't.
Humble soul. Zhao's not really that humble.
I don't use Chong
Mighty
Yun.
blow. He has great swords. I know. No one really does.
Oh my
but,
god.
like,
Okay, so this was good.
his
This is okay.
verse is called Spirit
I'll
Blades.
accept
Mhm.
this because you only got one of my voice acting ones today too. Okay.
we are tied.
Next
today,
time we will do
alright.
better. Both of us will do better.
Yeah. We have
But
to
those were
increase our
good.
logic and our lore.
Yeah, no, it's good. It was
Mhm.
good.
Short, but couple little hints here and there.
Yeah. So Thanks, Kahi, for the riddles. And for those of you that are listening, did you get them right? Did you get the voice acting right? Let us know in the Discord. Join us or come to the stream and let us know. Yeah, let us know. Okay, so then we'll get started with our last segment of the day, which is, of course, the community question discussion, which can be answered on Twitter, on Discord, or on Spotify. So our question from last week's episode was, what is the luckiest you have been in Genshin Impact so far? Tell us the story. Okay, so Kahi, would you mind reading us some of the Spotify answers?
All right. So a lot of these are, of course, going to be on your polls because no one's going to be talking about how lucky they were in, like, you know, completing a quest or like finding something out in the world. If we're talking about luck, we're definitely going to be talking about banner polls.
It is a gacha game.
It is a gacha game, after all. Pimzo Balto, I had just won the 50-50 on Sino's banner. I was building pity on the Nilu banner, and then I got her at like 15 pity. Oof, nice. Or the time I got Chi-Chi at 19 pity after just starting the game. So that's basically your second, if you're going by 10 pulls, your second pull, you got this.
That's nuts.
Wow.
I know people that got to like AR30
awesome.
and never got a 5-star. Like, I don't... That's
Free to
crazy.
play.
Yeah.
Well, next up with Octira, I had saved around 200 pulls for Nahida. But on only my second 10 pull, I got both Nahida and Diluc on consecutive pulls, leaving me still with 180 leftover fates. By the way, I was nowhere near pity.
Amazing.
That is lucky.
That is
because there's a lot of work you did, and you only needed a little bit. So that is good.
Clearly
That's
you
satisfying.
did something right somewhere.
Mhm. Yeah. Charlie, I got Kazuha at 6 pity on his first banner 3 days after I first started.
Oh my god. This is what I'm talking about. These are the stories we like to hear, man. This is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Primo Gem is God. On my Europe account, I got pity 1 Nahida on first pull as a new player.
Oh my god. Oh
wow.
Man. So
how do we keep getting better and better for these stories?
Hey man, free to play. It's very possible in this game. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I sent you that video. The guy on YouTube, Necrit, he's the League of Legends lore guy.
Right.
He talked about his literally his first 10 pull. He got Diluc.
So good, man.
Oh man, for a new character, Diluc is great. Willis getting C1. Oh, so Constellation 1 Wanderer and C6 Farazan without spending any money on wishes. That is impressive.
That's impressive. Dang.
That's a Constellation 5-star.
Yeah.
And like a C6 Farazan. Free to play. Wow, that's great.
That means you got the 5-star twice and
Noctimus
Farazan 7 times.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Free to play. That is lucky. Noctomacello on Nahida's banner. I got both her and Diluc on the same 10 pull. Hey, very, very familiar. I believe I also got Lisa and Hazel during that same time. Oh wow, I haven't gotten a Lisa pull in a very
I've never
long time.
gotten a Lisa pull on my Asia account.
I think I have C5 Lisa.
What?
I just need one more.
Really?
I mean, I've been playing since day one.
Dude, I haven't gotten us. I've gotten one C. Okay, wait. Okay. Okay. Sorry. I got freaked out because I have C4 Amber, and I never got a single Kaya or Lisa until like 6 months ago. I got a Kaya once, and I've never bought them from the shop. So
From the standard banner, right?
yeah, I mean just in any banner, right? Because they're I just never. They are on both, right? But man, okay.
Yeah, they are more rare than anything, apparently. Next up, Peachy on Genshin. You could say I have played since launch and never won a 50-50 until Yai, and still don't have Chi-Chi. That is more impressive. Or that Jinyan C2 is broken, or that Yao Yao DPS goes 26k charge. Also, my weapon banner lost gone. I think it's more impressive, honestly, that you don't have Chi-Chi. I feel like everyone has a Chi-Chi at this point,
Peachy.
whether they wanted to or not.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Peachy's good though.
such luck. Archangel, when Ganyu's banner ran last, I won 50-50 on her, and on the same day I did a single pull on the standard banner and got the Amos bow.
Wow. Fate is kind,
Whoa.
Archangel.
Okay.
Yeah. I still don't have a
if
5-star
it's
bow.
luckier to get
I don't have
multiple-
any 5-star bow, dude.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, as I have refinement 4 sacred winds.
Okay. Well, next up we have Harry. When I pulled for Sino and I had like 40 pulls saved, after 20 pulls, I got a 5-star and lost 50-50 to Chi-Chi. Oh, no. Oh, but that's not the end of the story. But then after another 20 pulls, I got Sino.
Oh, nice.
That was a
TLDR,
what a
I got
roller
2
coaster.
5-stars in 40 pulls. Man, that's awesome.
Wow.
Love to see it.
That's a good one. Rangtang. I pulled Zhongli with the last of my gems on the last day of his 1.5
yes.
banner. Oh, so the first time. The
Yeah.
first banner.
Gotta love it.
Last day. That is good.
It's like that, you know, okay, if I don't get him now, I'm not gonna get him until he comes back, and then you get him. Boom. That's just the best feeling.
Still trying to decide if it's more satisfying getting the character on like the final pulls or like the first pulls. I think
I
in
mean,
my
the
case,
first pull's nice because then you
my-
don't have to worry the whole banner period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my Raiden Shogun on my last single pull on her original banner.
I remember you mentioned
Before I didn't even have to spend. Oh, I love that.
that. So
And
good.
lastly, from our Spotify, VentEB/ARE, got my first 5-star in a standard banner. One wish that I did because why not? I screamed.
I screamed.
One standard. One standard.
Amazing.
Pull. That's satisfying. All right. So, Josh, what about from the Discord? Any interesting stories there?
So from the Discord, Kaching says, I got Wanderer first pull. So, yep, love to see it. Like we were saying, like, when you're like, okay, I wonder how much Primo Gems I'm going to spend on this banner getting this character, and you get them the first pull, that is very satisfying. Because now you're like, oh, well, I don't have to worry about anything anymore.
Yep. No worries.
Right? Chemlion says, went back to Genshin after not playing for months and got Kazuha in 1 pull. No idea where I was in pity. Also won 50-50 on Ganyu and Alhaitham. Nice. Winning 50-50 is always amazing. Winning it in a row is also really great. Angel, I had saved 40 pulls for Sino, and at Zero Pity I started pulling and got Chi-Chi after 20 pulls, and then Sino after another 20. Also accidentally got Alhaitham at 36, and I got Nahida in the last 30 minutes of her banner. Woo!
30 minutes. Oh my gosh.
That's what's up.
Time's running out.
Yeah,
You
that's
beat the
like
buzzer.
that's like now or never. Kazu, I'm Hoyoverse's favorite child since Sumeru. I've won the last 5 50-50s on character banner and the last 2 50-50s on weapon banner. Many came before Soft Pity. For example, I got 3 Wanderers and 1 Red Horn weapon in 91 pulls. Oh my god.
That is impressive.
Hoyoverse's
I'm
favorite
almost
child.
annoyed. I'm almost annoyed. 3 Wanderers and the Red Horns. Like character and weapon
Yeah.
in less than 100
Just
pulls.
the last
get,
2
like, one
50-50s
character
on
in that
weapon
many.
banner. Weapon banner itself is like so scary to pull because you just don't get anything. If you don't get it, it goes away. Like, you know, your progress toward the thing, the charted course or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I'm actually going after Dea and her weapon this time. I'm saving up.
Good luck. Good luck. I hope your story makes into one of these kind of stories. Paimon I had an AR25 account NA when this latest Shao banner dropped, maybe around 50 fates in total, so I decided to do a few pulls. First 10 pull, I get a 4-star. Second 10 pull, I get Tenari, and then Shao. Beginner's luck. Yes, beginner's luck. Love to see it.
Oh my god.
And WL Forever Banner. Posting here because Spotify has a word count limit. I remember the first time Ido's banner came out, I was determined to have him because his Chinese voice actor's name is my favorite male lead in Tears of Themis. Nice, another Hoyoverse game. Since I usually only get my characters after Soft Pity, not the luckiest, I managed to save up for at least 90 pulls in case I hit Hard Pity, but this also meant I cannot lose the 50-50. I remember being so nervous when I made sure I got all my lucky items with me when I pulled. Ended up I got lucky with Ayato and he came home at 30 pulls. Nice, congratulations.
Like lucky items in real life? Like you have little charms on your desk or something? That's what I'm reading. All my lucky items with me when I pulled.
Yeah, or go to like your lucky wishing spot or something, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so we have
Lucky charms.
Ashera. Between pulling for Nihida, 2 Ito, 1 Wanderer, and 2 Raiden Shogun, I didn't lose 50-50 once. Ooh, wow, wait, whoa, 2 Itos, too.
You're dodging bullets
2
here.
Raiden Shogun.
You're dodging bullets there.
So many
Yep.
bullets. Like, you're like the Matrix right now. This is nuts. Alright. Amel Strange, Jean and Zhongli in 110 pull, 2.4 Lantern Right, Jean C1, and what's it called?
Polls, I think.
Wait, what is
and polls?
No. It's
PJWS.
Here. Jean C1 and Primordial Jade Wing Spear in 110 pull last week.
Oh, this.
Yeah, PJWS. Lantern Right really brings me good luck. Yay! I'm usually very unlucky. No, but yeah, nice Lantern Right. Hey, you got the luck. You got the luck. And lastly, we have TNT. So from the start, I have a sister that is already playing before me, so I had a very big advantage in that. There's also the fact that 5-star Animo boys seem to like me. My first 5-star Kazuha, I didn't even want him. I was wishing for Heizo. I won his 50-50. Then Wander's C1 at low pity, again won 50-50. And today I won for Shao, and I'm very happy. Woo! Congratulations! Yeah.
Animo boys.
Animo boys in the house. Okay, so that's our. Thank you all for answering and sharing your stories with us.
Responses.
Really, really good ones. It's always fun celebrating with people their great luck. You know what I mean? So, what about our next question for next week, Kahi?
So, as we were talking about the Jeht story, the part 2, a lot of great stories have a trilogy. So, if we see Jeht and Babel again, what do you hope will happen next? Or just in general, what do you want to have happen after this story if it were to continue? So you can answer the question on their Discord, Spotify, or replying to the Twitter post about this episode announcement.
Okay, so that wraps up our show for today. As always, thanks for listening, and if you have the time, please leave us a comment and a review. We'd really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening. Follow us on Twitter, once again, at Genshin Guys Pod, or you can follow me at Jside Gaming, as well as my Twitch, twitch.tv/Jside, and Kahi at Kahiao, Kahiyo. And as always,
Ad Astra Abyssos.
Hoshitoshion Mezase!
Enjoy.